Do your kids have recess at school like you did when you were a kid? Well, chances are the amount of time they spend running around on the playground has dropped.
You know, some schools have even canceled recess altogether, and that's a big concern for Oregon parents. KOIN 6 investigator Jennifer Dowling has been looking into this and why it's happening. Jennifer.
Well, Ann and Jeff, even though obesity rates among school-aged children in Oregon rose more than 50% from 2001 to 2009, recess time, a chance for free play and to get out and move, has rapidly been losing minutes. And I found out it could get even worse.
I think recess time is absolutely essential.
Robin Maloney takes 9-year-old Owen and 6-year-old Josephine to the park regularly. Are you full of lots of energy?
No.
You're not? Baloney.
She says the two attend Abernathy Elementary in Portland, where an administrator told her that students get around 30 minutes of recess per day.
I'd say 30 minutes has to be the minimum.
However, at Vernon Elementary in the same district, things are a bit different for second grader Emma.
I love it.
Mom Kari Martin feels recess times are too lean there.
As far as I know, they have lunch. I think it's like 20-minute schedule, and then they have 15 minutes for recess. I think it's pretty bad. It would be nice if they had longer recess or more frequent. So it's a little frustrating.
Parents like this are interested in learning more about what's happened to that playtime.
Where should we go next?
Because in some districts, kids are using this equipment less and less.
We're in a different time.
According to University of Portland education professor Karen Eifler, tight school budgets and state-mandated instruction time have been cutting into the playground. Nationally, since No Child Left Behind was enacted in 2001, the Center on Education Policy reported by the 6th year, recess time nationally had dropped on average 50 minutes per week. Meanwhile, between 2001 and 2009, the Oregon Public Health Division reported that the percentage of Oregon 8th graders who were obese increased 53%. The number of 11th graders increased by 55%.
It's got to be connected.
We did our own research on local schools, surveying their recess times. Portland Public Schools is on the lighter end at just 15 to 20 minutes in some schools. Beaverton and David Douglas schools also in that grouping. Albany, Salem, Kaiser, and Hillsborough ringing in at 30 minutes. And on the higher end, Lake Oswego and Evergreen Public Schools in Vancouver are at around 45 minutes. Statewide, Oregon State University's Healthy Youth Program spokesperson Casey Bennett says the average is now about 30 minutes total for the entire day. However, some educators are concerned the free play recess could drop even further. In 2017, schools are being mandated to provide the equivalent of 30 minutes of structured physical education per day for grades 1 through 5 and 45 minutes for 6 through 8. Eifler has noticed schools moving that way already.
Is either eliminate recess or a nod to the importance of physical movement is they'll do things like power walking. They'll take the class out and they'll power walk around the block.
I went to Rob Saxton, Oregon's Deputy Superintendent of Public Instruction, to ask if the state should track what's happening with recess, because so far it hasn't.
Is there, a commitment that the department could make to look into that for those parents?
Yeah, I mean, again, that's really not a role that the department has played. It's more of something that happens at the local level.
Would you be willing to look into it?
Well, I certainly can have conversations with people about that. I don't, I would want to be really careful about getting into that. It's more work around the reporting mechanism that each local district needs to do and some of the time and effort that it takes for them to do that.
We then took the question to Senate President Peter Courtney.
Is there any way to track it so you have a better idea?
The Department of Ed can track it. Our Department of Ed, sitting over these buildings, can easily track this stuff. I mean, it's done all the time. They have the ability to track it. They track a lot of things. They could track it.
He admits it's been a hard enough battle just to keep the 2017 PE deadline in place.
I'm getting signals from some of the lobby group and advocacy group, as well as legislators. Peter, could you so I'm sure I'm going to get into this whole thing again that I had to battle a few years ago.
They're pressuring you to push it back? Is that what they're doing?
To push back the deadlines, go easy, maybe not to count some things as PE that aren't PE. Yeah, it's coming again.
He says because of that, he doesn't want free play recess to be considered as PE.
I'm not going to consider PE because it's a pass. It's an attempt to get around it.
So under the scenario, is free play at schools then in danger in the future?
Well, I'm not prepared to tell you that today because I haven't studied it. I would say if it's either or, I'd say it is a danger.
He says after our interview, he feels tracking what's happening with recess may be the next step.
If you're telling me I need to mandate with the law, I'll mandate it. Maybe I'll look at that, follow the interview, and I'll develop legislation or say, at least have it understand, you got to track this so we literally know what's going on. school district by school district.
This elementary parent hopes the state keeps an eye on the recess situation.
The free time of play and recess is pretty important to develop their creative sense and their sense of adventure.
And if you didn't see your school on there, we encourage you to go to coin.com because we surveyed other school districts and you may find yours on there.